Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, it is time to go over my week 3 challenges guide, featuring the star between the 3 ski lodges, the secret loading screen star on top of that, and of course the other challenges as well, which are kind of straightforward, but I want to focus on the fastest way to get them done. So that means we're going to be going through stuff like tips, tricks, and secrets just to help you get done with these as fast as possible so you can get back into the game, playing it for fun, and that'll also help you get closer to unlocking stages for Zenith, Lynx, and also overall get closer to unlocking the Ice King, which is definitely pretty cool. So yeah guys, and big thanks to all of you who have been using my supporter creator code in the item shop. Again, it is code TheLlamaSir with 2 L's. But if you're new to the channel and you appreciate these guides and you want to help support me, you can use my supporter creator code in the item shop. I really do appreciate it, and thanks again to all of you who have been using my code. But yeah guys, if you find this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button down below and also comment what tier or level you guys are at, because I'm always curious to see how far along you guys are, because personally I am at tier 58. Again, I did get the head start at the very beginning, but I'm curious to see where you guys are at as well, so comment that down below. But yeah guys, first of all, let's jump into it with just an overview of the challenges in case you're not home to see them or something. And just as a recap, again, we're going to be covering the location of the secret loading screen star. You guys know I have you covered with that stuff. And then for the challenges themselves this week, you have deal weapon damage stages. You also have legendary weapon eliminations. I'll be showing you like the best way to find legendary weapons, the quickest way. Then search between 3 ski lodges. I'll show you the exact location of that. Also search chests at Polar Peak or Tomato Temple and ring a doorbell in different named locations. Show you good ways to do that. Also ride a zipline in separate matches. I'll show you like a bunch of the locations of those so you know exactly where to go, and also land at location stages. So again, overall, I'm going to be showing you tips and tricks of how to like work on these together and where to like get different items, where to find the different things the fastest, just overall help you get done with these challenges quickly. So first of all, let's jump into it with the first challenge I want to go over in this video, and that is ride a zipline in separate matches. This is a good one to start off because it's one that you can do with so many of these other challenges. And again, it is separate matches and you have to do it 5 times. So by far, when you're trying to do some of the other challenges and you happen to be near one of the zip lines, simply just take it so you get one of those done per game, and eventually you'll have it done. You might not even have to actually like focus on this one at the end. So with that being said, here's a quick map of like a bunch of the locations for the zip lines. As you can see, there's a bunch in the iceberg biome. There's a bunch like sort of near Paradise Palms, around those mountains, hills, whatever you want to call them. But also there's a bunch, you know, spread out around the rest of the map. And like something to keep in mind, they're generally around those, you know, pop-up, I don't even know what to call them, those buildings, those red buildings that have shown up on the map. A bunch of them like centralize around those, and also they're on hills. So if you're near a tall hill, there's a good chance there might be a zip line up there. So keep that in mind, just keep a lookout for them. And again, when you're maybe doing one of the elimination challenges, simply land close to a zip line, take it, and you'll be working towards this challenge. Super duper easy. And then after that guys, you have one that's sort of tough, sort of not. It's one of those challenges where you have to find a certain weapon and then get eliminations with it. But for this week, it's on the tougher side because it is specifically legendary weapons. However guys, I know a super easy way to get this one done. It does depend on like what game modes are around, but overall guys, it's super easy once you know this trick. So yeah guys, legendary weapon eliminations, you need a total of 2, which really isn't that many. And there's a bunch of ways you could do it. You could maybe just drop into solo. If you're playing normally, you're bound to find some legendary weapons eventually, like a legendary assault rifle, legendary heavy sniper. Those will help you get this done. However, the way that I would prefer to do it, and I think is the fastest way to do it, is to go into a big team mode. Now this is where it does get a little bit tricky because, you know, it's 14 days of Fortnite. Apparently the LTMs are going to be switching in and out a bunch, so this may or may not work depending on when you're doing the challenges and what mode there is. But they did say in an announcement that they will be cycling big team mode, so I would assume that there's always going to be some form of big team mode, at least for like the next 2 weeks. But yeah, in these types of modes, a lot of the time in the main circle, a lot of airdrops spawn at a certain point in time during those games. Like for example, teams of 33, once you're in the match, I think you have to wait until around 8 minutes on the storm, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure, but I was just like testing this out a little bit. And like as you can see, a bunch of supply drops or airdrops drop onto the map within that smaller circle in these big team modes. So they're super easy to find. You just need to go there, wait, look up into the air once you hear that, you know, sound of the supply drops dropping. And then since you also have redeploy in these modes, you can build up, redeploy towards those drops, open them up for a legendary item. I'm pretty sure they always spawn one, and then use that to get some eliminations. If you happen to get a tough item like a minigun, something you can do is knock a person down. If you're able to knock them down, it depends on if there's respawns or not, but you can knock them down down with your AR and then finish them off with your legendary weapon, and that should count towards the challenge. We might need to test that out with the new season, but that has worked in the past, so I would assume it works now. We just might have to test it out. After that then, though, you have a pretty interesting one which has to do with the doorbells, but it's different from the way it was done last season, where you had to like ring a doorbell with an opponent inside the house. It is different from that, and apparently you have to ring the doorbell of a house in 2 separate named locations, which is actually fairly straightforward if you know some of the best locations to do this in, which you guys know I have you covered for. So first of all, when you start out this challenge, there's 4 main areas that have a bunch of doorbells and are named locations. Those are Retail Row, Salty Springs, Pleasant Park, and also Paradise Palms. However, when you take a look at those, there's a couple that are actually way closer than the others, and those specifically are Retail Row and Salty Springs. So basically, guys, what you want to do is pretty simple. I would recommend actually going to Salty Springs first, because you can land at one of the houses, ring the doorbell that's out front, then grab a quad crasher and go over to Retail Row, and then ring the nearest doorbell of the houses over there. Honestly, guys, it's very simple. As long as you grab that quad crasher, doesn't even really matter what game mode you go into. Just make sure that you go to the 2 different named locations and ring a doorbell at each one. Pretty straightforward. But then after that, guys, let's jump into it with the star location for this week. And by the way, guys, if you find this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because I post these guides every single week showing you guys tips, tricks, and secrets in order to help you get done with the challenges as fast as possible. And if you don't want to miss a guide, being subscribed and having notifications turned on is the best way to know about them. But yeah, guys, getting back into it, this week is a star. I definitely do love the stars, and I know you guys love them as well compared to the banners. And as it seems, since the first week was a star and since the second week was a banner, and then this week is again a star, it does for sure seem that they're going with the same thing that they did for season 6 and switching in between the stars and banners for each week. So I would say that next week is more than likely going to be a banner, and then for week 5 it's going to be a star, and so on and so forth. You guys know how it works, but yeah, that does seem to be the case. So yeah, if you guys do want a free tier, first of all, as always, you do have to complete this week's challenges. That's a very important thing. The star will not show up unless you complete this week's challenges, so be sure to finish the other ones first. On top of that, you may need to complete the previous weeks as well. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'll probably test it soon, but you know, if the star doesn't show up once you completed this week's challenges, that is probably why. But yeah, where is the star for this week? I haven't quite completed this week's challenges, but the loading screen has been going around a bunch on Twitter, Reddit, stuff like that, and as you guys know, they usually hide a clue in there. So apparently the star is at Frosty Flights, which is a little bit interesting because the banner from last week is there as well. But yeah, I guess it's on the other side of the building. It is actually at the hangars, those big red building things, whatever. It's in the one that is on the left if you're facing the entrances of them. So all you need to do is go inside of there, then face towards the left side of there, and it should be right up here. Again, if it's not here, I'm just judging this based off of the clue in the loading screen. I haven't quite gotten it yet, so for some reason it changes, simply check the pinned comment down below. I will update you guys there, but I really think it should be here. So yeah, simply go up to that, grab it, and then you will then need to either win the game or get eliminated for the challenge to count. But yeah, it should be a free tier. Keeping it going here, guys, let's move on to the next challenge I want to go over. And actually, there's a couple of challenges that remind me of the old seasons. I sort of hope they keep doing these ones. But you've got a search chests challenge. We may have had one like this in week 1, but I like how they're doing it with 2 separate locations. And this week is either in Polar Peak or Tomato Temple, and you have to search through 7 chests there. So yeah, guys, it's pretty straightforward, but honestly, what I can recommend is probably, I mean, it is tough. I would say Polar Peak, just because Tomato Temple, I feel like it's slightly smaller, but I guess they are sort of the same size, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe go to whichever is later on the battle bus that might, you know, get less people going there. And then for the game mode, you know, you can do big team modes if you want it super simple and your team is on that side. But honestly, you can do this in maybe solo duos, solo squads, probably run into a bit less people there, and it's going to be pretty simple. But yeah, like for Polar Peak, as you can see, there's a bunch of chests in the big building that has just like appeared recently, especially like in the throne room. A couple can spawn also like up in the library. There's a bunch of chests in this building, and then you know you got the buildings around it, so it is pretty straightforward, guys. Shouldn't be that much of a challenge. But then after that, guys, we have the search between 3 lodges, which is another battle star challenge similar to the ones we had a couple of seasons ago. But yeah, guys, for this challenge, again, it is very similar to a couple of seasons ago where you got a clue and then you had to search on the map for a battle star that showed up. Now this is separate from the secret battle star that you get from the loading screen, and it is actually, you know, a part of the main challenges. So you do have to do this one first before, you know, you get the secret loading screen star, if that makes sense. But this itself is a secret star for the challenge, which you'll see. And yeah, you don't need to complete any previous challenges. You just need to go to this location, and as the clue says, you have to search between between 3 lodges. Now, where is that? Well, you guys know probably it is in the iceberg biome, but where exactly in the iceberg biome? That is the question. Well, actually, it's kind of like close to the middle, actually. It's between some of the locations like Frosty Flights and stuff like that. And sorry, this gameplay doesn't actually show the star. I first recorded grabbing it, but then the recording got messed up and it just like showed 1 frame, so I don't know why that is, but this is just in replay, so you can see where I go. I'll tell you where the star shows up, but as you can see, it is right over here. You can see that there's 1 lodge over here, another one over here, and another one over here, but it's a little bit odd like where the star is exactly in between those. So as you can see right here, I'm just dropping into like a solo game. I find that to be the easiest, and then you need to look in between the trees over here and go to this specific location. If you don't go here, it won't show up, but if you do go here, you can see that the star comes up, and then you have to just hold X or whatever use button you use to pick up the star, and that will be how you complete this challenge. It's very straightforward once you know the location of it. So yeah, guys, there you go. That is a pretty easy challenge right there. And then after that, guys, there's a pretty simple challenge, so I'm not going to spend much time on this one specifically, but it is the deal damage stages, and I haven't quite gotten through this one. I just know that the first stage is deal damage with shotguns, so I'm assuming the other ones are just other weapons. And honestly, guys, if you do a big team mode, this should be pretty easy, or if you're just playing normally, you should be able to get this done. I mean, I use shotguns in game all the time, just when I'm going for wins, so I mean, I could at least get this first stage without even trying, so I wouldn't really worry about this one. Maybe save it for the end, because you'll probably be able to mix it with some other challenges. And then on top of that, guys, for the final challenge for this week that I want to go over, you have the land at location stages challenge. This is very similar to ones that we've had in the past, where you have to land at one location, and then the next game land at another one, and then the next game after that land at another one. Pretty much the exact same thing like that. And the first location is Lonely Lodge, so you know, just drop in at the start of your game, land over there, and then you're going to have to wait for the next game in order to even do the next stage. That's how the stage challenges work. You can't do multiple stages, I'm pretty sure, in one game. But yeah, when you're at Lonely Lodge, maybe you can find an SMG there and do that challenge, because a bunch of other people are probably going to be dropping there as well. So, you know, maybe try and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for today's guide. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as check out some of my previous videos here, such as on the left, my week 2 challenges guide if you still need it, and then on the right, going through a bunch of the things in the 14 days of Fortnite event, which is a fun one. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.